Hello, everybody. It is Professor Parish, and welcome back to English 122. So we are on Module 10, actually. And so as I'm recording this, it's Saturday, so Module 9 is still due on Sunday, tomorrow. So if you've not done the Paper 2 draft, please make sure you turn that in by Sunday night. Again, you won't have a chance to get an extension on it, so make sure you've got it turned in. And also make sure you have your poetry exam done and the discussion forum. So Module 10, let's go ahead and click on it. We've only got 2 assignments for this coming week. Only 2. We're at the point in the semester, we're past the halfway mark, we're at the point in the semester where we spend the least amount of time on Paper 3. And the reason for that is that Paper 3, this is the drama section of our class. And I spend the least amount of time on drama only because SIC offers so many other drama-related classes. We have Theater Appreciation, which is Theater 121. You have English 243, which is Intro to Drama. You have Theater 243, which is also an Intro to Drama. So there's at least 3 other classes you could take that are oriented around studying plays and their creation and their content. So since we offer so many other classes concerning plays and drama, I spend the least amount of time on it here. So we do a paper for it, and we are going to talk about it and introduce the genre of literature, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I would rather give you more time to work on the research paper that's going to come in November. So what we have here is our guidelines for Paper 3, which I'm about to go over. For this week, just read the section called Reading a Play on pages 1141 to 1162. It's crazy this book is so big, and we really only scratched the surface of it. It's got so many different plays and different things within it. So just make sure you read that section, and then here is the Paper 3 guidelines. So for this paper, you've got a couple options. This is probably the most straightforward play or paper about plays. I feel like students have told me this is the easiest paper in the class because it's so straightforward. There's really, your options are 1, you can write your own 1-act play, so you can format it like an actual script. Now here's the thing, it has to look like a play. So if you've never read a play before, you'll see examples in our textbook. It's not in an essay paragraph style format. It should look like a play if you choose to do that option. And I've had some students choose to do it. I had one student, he kind of went above and beyond. He was a music major, and he actually constructed a 1-act play for this paper. And then what he did to kind of go above and beyond the grade is he actually wrote his own little score for it and sent me like a Spotify link so that as I was reading his play, I could listen to the Spotify and listen to it. And it was really, really good. I was like, it was definitely an A+ paper for sure. But you can write your own play. It needs to be at least 3 full pages, and it needs to look like a play. So it does not look like what your other, like, it doesn't look like a poem, doesn't look like a chapter or a short story. It looks like a play. So if you choose option 1, that's the creative option. And some students do that, but most choose option 2, which is that you analyze a play from our textbook, or you can choose a play from an outside source. So if you want to analyze Hamilton, you can do that. But you are going to use the textbook to identify the elements of drama that are discussed. And I want you at some point in your analysis to answer the following questions. They can be at any order in your paper, but they need to be answered. What genre does your play fall into? Is it a Greek tragedy? Is it a modern theater? Is it Shakespeare? What genre is it? What terms from our drama chapters apply to it? So if it talks about revenge tragedy or talks about has a messenger within it, you can use terms from our chapters to apply to the various characters and situations within the plays. But I want you to use your textbook to kind of identify different terminology and how they're applied to the play themselves. And then finally, what is the overall purpose of the play and the significance for the reader? So why did the playwright feel the need to have this be a story that was acted out? What was the point? And that is very much left to your own interpretation, but you can research it as well and use an outside source if you want to. The guidelines, the paper should be 3 pages long, 1-inch margins, 12-point font. I didn't have this on here, but one of the students asked about it. Just assume that everything is double-spaced. Traditionally, a college essay is always double-spaced. So I don't feel the need to put it in here, but if you're curious, double-space your paper. That's pretty standard. Most college essays require it double-spaced unless the instructor is specific, but double-space your paper. It should, and that kind of goes in the should be an essay format. Usually essay format with quotation marks is double spaced with an introduction and a conclusion. You will need to cite your textbook in MLA on a works cited page, as well as any other optional sources that you use. They need to be cited in MLA, not APA. And you have to have a separate works cited page, and you should have in-text citations. So that all stuff is pretty standard. Your thesis statement is going to be due this weekend. I'm going to show you that here in a second. The draft is going to be due November 7th. So you really only have a couple weeks to work on this paper, only 2.5 weeks, which is fine. That's plenty of time because it's only a 3-page paper. The most time it's going to take you is to read the actual play, right? Unless you're doing option 1 and then you just have to write it. So, I mean, this is still a good time frame, and then your revisions are going to be due around Thanksgiving. So as far as grading goes, the introduction and conclusion, grammar, your analysis and content, I'll be looking at the terms you talk about. Do you answer the 3 questions? That all goes into it. And then the formatting and page length. So it's worth 100 points like our other paper. But like I said, most students think this paper is the easiest because our book has so many different plays you can choose from. Or if you know an outside play you want to write about, you can do that too. So that all is well and good. The discussion forum this week, I really like this. John Malkovich, he is an actor, and he's actually from Benton. He's actually from Benton, Illinois, which is great. He's like 30 minutes from our college. It was where he grew up at. But he's a really well-known actor, and he actually started out in theater. He started out on the stage, and then as he got older, he started taking more film roles. So he talks about in this video the difference between film acting and theater acting. And if you've ever been in a play before, which I've been in plays out at SIC and I was in high school plays, then you kind of may understand and relate to what he's talking about. And so I'm really, really curious in the discussion forum here, what is the most interesting thing about Malkovich's description of film versus theater? If you've been in a play before, can you relate to his words? The chapters for this week talk about Shakespeare and older plays. Why do we still read them? What's timeless? Why do we still read a play from the 1400s? What's timeless about it, right? What do you think is the biggest advantage to seeing a performance live as opposed to reading it on page? And this kind of ties back to the whole thing about slam poetry versus traditional poetry. What is the similarities and differences? So I really like this video, so I think this should be interesting to watch. And look over there. As you probably haven't looked at chapters 35, 38, that'll be next week, but I've included it in the discussion forum here. So that's the discussion forum. And then the paper and thesis outline, it's basically like what you've done for papers 1 and 2. I just want to know which of the 2 options are you picking? Are you making your own play or are you analyzing a play? And then let me know kind of the structure you're thinking of. So are you thinking about talking about the characters first and then the themes, and then are you thinking about answering the questions in their own sections? How are you going to organize your thoughts and information? And again, it's all work in progress, so your outline can change as you actually go to write your paper. I just want to see that you have an actual outline in place. All right. So that's pretty much it for this week. I will be grading your papers this coming week, paper 2, the poetry papers. Some of you sent in revisions for paper 1. That was great. But I will be reading your poetry papers this week and getting you feedback on that. And I'll talk more about that in the Module 11 video. But yeah, so I like theater a lot. I'm excited to hear your thoughts about the discussion forum this week. I'm excited to see what you end up choosing to analyze, or if you choose to write your own play. I'm really curious. There's so many good plays in our textbook, and there's so many great plays out there. I know a big one that's probably popular right now is Dear Evan Hansen, since the movie just came out. So I'm curious to know if anybody chooses that. It's fine if y'all choose the same play. It's fine by me. So just if you have any questions, please let me know. But otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next week to talk about Module 11 in English 122. Bye.